Welcome, welcome. It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I thought I would talk about the quantum range of a stock 125A and its fighting abilities. Now, the fighting abilities part, that part's not stock. I decided to put some Class B shields, Class B coolers, and fixed size 3s on this ship. So, like I was talking about in my previous Origin 100 series video, these ships come stock with 2 size 3 mounts on the wings. No other starter ship really does that. Not a plane starter. I guess this one's kind of a little more than a plane starter, maybe. But it's not on the level of like an Avenger Titan or an Arrow or something like that. So, yeah, no other, I guess, starter ship below that level comes with those size 3s on the wingtips. So it's pretty interesting, and we'll see how well it fares in a fight. But first, let's check out this quantum range on this thing with a stock quantum drive. I just jumped from Port Tressler over at Microtech. I'm going all the way to Crusader and then Grim Hex around Yella. It says the trip is about, I guess, well, it says that this thing has 700 quantum fuel stock, and the trip will take roughly 400 of that quantum fuel, which isn't too bad for a starter ship going all the way across the system, which, you know, you would hope any starter ship would be able to do that. But there are ships in the game that struggled making this jump, especially fighters, and this is still classified as a light fighter. So it's very interesting to see that it's got plenty of quantum fuel for me to jump around the Crusader part of the system and do combat later on. You know, I never refuel the fuel on this thing, including hydrogen fuel, and it works like a charm. I mean, it will hold up, it'll last a while, so it's very nice. Now, if you see the graphics on the planets since they redid them, it's a little slow loading in. Thank goodness I didn't go down to the surface, though I plan on doing that here eventually, to see what all's changed with, you know, the tessellation and spread of the different rocks and stuff. Here we are on the last leg of the trip to Grim Hex. As you can see, it used 415 quantum fuel total to get there. Not too bad. I mean, you're jumping all the way across the system, and it's using just a little bit over half your quantum reserves. Again, I'm impressed with that. I know there's better ships as far as quantum fuel is concerned, or better drives that'll last a lot longer. But we're just talking about the stock 125A here. Now, the total trip time, yeah, it did take a little while. It wasn't an instantaneous jump from Microtech to Crusader, but it wasn't exorbitantly long either. I mean, it was a comfortable trip. You know, I could get up and do a few things, let the dog out, or, you know, let her back in, and you know, I had time to do a few things while in that quantum jump. Obviously, most ships, even with the best drives, aren't going to make it in under about 3 or 4 minutes. It's just the nature of the game. But again, this wasn't super long to get there. This ship still looks beautiful to me, but part of it looks like maybe a TIE interceptor, or like the ship that Kylo Ren flies, maybe partially from the back. As you know, approach, the silhouette there kind of gives off that TIE fighter vibe a little bit. So what do you guys think? Does it look kind of like a TIE in the back? I mean, to me it kind of does. So it's just kind of cool because of that, for sure. But you know, I like the way this thing looks. It flies interesting. That's the best way I could describe it. It's very drifty, but if you use the afterburner judiciously, like a lot, you tend to get back on target very quickly. I'm not going to be racing this thing around a racetrack anytime soon, but in open space, it's serviceable. You know, it actually might make this thing a little slippery in combat. Will I get to show you that later on? Well, maybe. The problem with the fights that I take later on is I don't think I'm being focused on by all the enemies. You'll see what happens at the very end of this video when they decide to focus on me. Now, I did stop here at Grimhex. I got out and bought some guns, including the grenade launcher. I want to be able to use that grenade launcher for you guys on a future video. A little tap there on that rock, but we're good. Yeah, I want to be able to use that grenade launcher and show you the force effects and how well it explodes people. So I'll definitely be using that in an upcoming video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I also want to take the time right now to say thank you to all my Patreon and YouTube members. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate you. I wish I had better way to say thank you, and I appreciate you. I'm working on that. Thank you to everybody who views my videos as well. Make sure if you like this video, you're hitting that like button. And if you've never subscribed before, hit that subscribe button. I try to do a video every day just to try to bring some different content, or at least my take on what's in the game. And, I hope you guys enjoy that. So if you want to come back and watch more, hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon to let you know when I do more. So now I am planning on doing a service beacon mission where an NPC puts out a service beacon because they're under attack, and I need to come to the rescue. Keep in mind, this is a starter ship. It's not generally what you want to take into pitched battles like this one and the one after this. I did not know I was going to be facing the ships I was facing, and it's quite a daunting task, actually, and I do quite well, though, like I said, I don't know that the NPC AI bad guys are really focused that much on me. You see there's 3 ships to protect here, and there's numerous enemies. There's at least 3 bad guys that I have to take care of. The very first one looks like it's a Connie Andromeda, which is probably a little out of my league, to be honest. Luckily, these NPCs also have guns as well, and they're able to fire back, and we were able to take down the Connie Andromeda relatively quickly. Then we have to move on to a Gladius, which again, this ship versus a Gladius, I'm definitely outgunned. The Gladius probably has better shields. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's not a battle I would normally want to take in a 125A. But it does manage to do quite well against the Gladius, and I was able to bring it down relatively quickly. And again, there's another Gladius here that I'm having to deal with, and it's already firing at one of the guys I'm supposed to protect, so obviously it's not even thinking about fighting me. So I'm able to close in on it quickly and then start tearing into it. I'm using 2 size 3 Panther repeaters on the wings of this. I would not recommend using repeaters since it's the only 2 guns on this ship. I would actually recommend using something that hits harder. It's going to be a little bit slower times in between shots, but I think a harder hitting gun, maybe the Omni Sky, or Mass Drivers, something along those lines would probably be a wiser choice on the wingtips for this ship. So we were able to take out the 3 pirate vessels here, and now we're going to move on to another service beacon, and this one gets a little hairier because it doesn't only just have 1 wave. There's actually going to be 2 waves that I have to go through, and they are some sophisticated ships in these waves. Like, these pirates have gotten their hands on some nasty hardware. And there's only 1 ship for me to protect. It's a Caterpillar, so it makes things a lot harder because there's at least 4 bad guys in each wave, and they have progressively better ships. So definitely check this out and how well I perform here. The first wave I don't really get focused on, and they're not using missiles. The second wave I will end up getting focused on, and they will use missiles. Which one is the downfall, or is it both? You'll have to be the judge, but I still think missiles are bugged as hell. 1 missile can kill you, and where that might be realistic, that's not necessarily fun, especially when countermeasures don't work. And I of course need to rebind my countermeasures because they aren't bound to the same thing I have in the PU in the current PTU. I just need to copy my files over and make that happen. So you can see the first ship here that I'm going up against is a Buccaneer, and I have a little problem hitting this thing early on, and it seems like maybe the targeting is not functioning like I like, but I have had some internet issues here lately where I have high jitter on my internet line, and that could cause some of these problems that I'm facing here. So it's something I definitely need to take up with my ISP, as I've checked just about everything I can on my end, short from replacing the router altogether. So yeah, I'm definitely experiencing some jitter, but that's no excuse. I was having a hard time hitting this Buccaneer, evidently. You know, I didn't have as hard of a time hitting some of the other guys later. And evidently I also hit the Caterpillar a couple of times here because I got a check friendly fire warning. Luckily, I didn't put the finishing blow on him. So again, these ships are very focused on the Caterpillar right now, so I should be getting some pretty free shots on these. So we finally were able to take out the Buccaneer. Now there's a Super Hornet, or a Hornet, that's tearing into the Caterpillar from the side. And I've definitely decided this is one I need to focus on. And it seems like we must have blown off an engine nacelle or something there to cause the Hornet to have a slight explosion. But we will continue on him until he's gone, and then move on to another ship. As you can see, there was another explosion in front of him. I don't know what's going on. I guess we're blowing parts of him off. I don't know. I wasn't close enough to see the debris come off of him. Then we're going to move on to this other enemy ship in front of us that is also pretty nasty. Again, we tear off pieces of it, blow it up, and move on to the next one. So you can see they just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Finally, we will take this last one out, and another wave will appear out of nowhere. You know, you take down 4 or 5 enemy ships, and you're like, yes, I've done it! And boom, 2 show up, 3, 4, and you've got to take on a whole nother group of bad guys. So I'm pretty confident right now. You know, I've been doing pretty good against these guys, even though I've had a little help from the ships that I'm protecting, and they haven't been focusing on me. So, you know, I'm going to go right at it and see if I can take out as many of them as possible again. Problem is this time they're able to take down the Caterpillar quite quickly. And believe it or not, the 125A does not have missiles on it right now. It's supposed to, but they don't have them in the game. And as far as I know, you can't adjust that. I've tried, and it would not let me put any missiles on there. So even though it's supposed to have missiles, you have no access to them. I was not able to lock on and fire, and maybe that's because my bindings, but I think I just did not have access to them. It would have helped in this fight for sure. I could have, you know, done the same thing that they end up doing to me. So again, I'm trying to get these ships out of there. They blew up the Caterpillar, so now I know I'm in trouble. Here's another Buccaneer that's always giving me problems, and it starts welling into me. And then I see this crossfire here, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to get some space here before they take me out with their guns. And I noticed that there's some radar locks, so I have some missiles coming my way as well. And I just kind of try to fly backwards here a little bit and get some shots on the closest ships, and maybe I can take out a few before I go down. All in all, this ship does pretty well in combat. Again, if it wasn't for a missile bug, I would probably have been able to take these NPCs out. Now, how would it work against players? Probably not that great, because, you know, players tend to fight a little more dynamically than the AI NPCs. But I did enjoy flying this thing in combat, and I definitely used the afterburners to correct my, I guess, my direction or my vector that I was traveling in. As you can see, I was able to take out quite a few of these ships, even with a little bit of focus on me. And unfortunately, the missiles are going to get me. But guys, I really do appreciate all you tuning in. Thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.